Morning, Steve Keefe, broker owner of Coldwell Banker Scabbard Realty in Lake Arrowhead. You'll notice I have my jacket on because it's a little chilly out today. We finally got our fall weather. This morning I'm going to talk a little bit about market statistics in Lake Arrowhead. I'm going to talk about what's going on with the marketplace '07 last year versus 2008 this year. I'm also going to talk about what our competitors, what some of the other companies in the marketplace, how their statistics fare against our statistics. And then I'm going to offer 5 recommendations to sellers on positioning their property within the marketplace so they have a better opportunity of selling. First of all, 2007 versus 2008 statistics. If we look at Lake Arrowhead Woods, which is the general market vicinity of Lake Arrowhead, I've excluded lakefront properties because they're a different animal. So what we're really talking about is we're talking about the standard Lake Arrowhead property within Lake Arrowhead Woods that has lake rights. 2007, there were 238 units that sold. In 2008, we had 180 units that sold. So you saw a 58 unit drop. We saw 58 fewer properties sell for the first 3 months. The first 3 quarters of 2007 versus 2008. That represents a 24% decrease in the number of transactions for the first 3 quarters of each of those, for 2008 versus 2007. Median price, which seems to be a hot button for a lot of people. A lot of people consider median price to be a figure that they watch, thinking that it affects their values. What median price is basically about is giving you a general market barometer of properties that are selling. Median price for 2008, 403,500. For 2007, it was 457. So we saw a decrease in the median price of $54,000 or 12%. Does that mean your property is worth 12% less than last year? The answer to that question is probably not. Each property is going to be specific. You're going to see an increase or decrease in value based on specific amenities within your property. But what this number is telling us is that if you look at the properties that are selling and you evaluate those, the properties that are selling are about 12% less in value than they were the previous year. Another figure we look at is marketing time. What's important to sellers is how quickly is my property going to sell. And of the properties that sold, we're going to talk a little bit more about the percentage of properties that sold a little later, but of the properties that sold, it was 104 days in 2008 versus 103 days in 2007. So we've seen a relatively stable marketplace with regard to the days on market for properties that are selling. However, I've done some analysis on the number of properties that are selling versus the number of properties that are currently listed. And it appears that only 1 in 4 properties that's currently listed for sale is actually selling. The other 3 properties are expiring, the seller's pulling them off the market, they're withdrawing them, or there's any number of other end results for those properties, but only 1 in 4 properties is actually selling. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the companies in the marketplace. I told you before that 180 properties sold since the beginning of this year, so that would be January through September. 79 of those 180 properties were listed by Coldwell Banker Scabbard Realty. That represents a 44% market share. Typically, historically, our company runs about 40% of the market. In other words, 40% of the properties that are selling are actually listed by our company. When the market gets difficult, when times are tough, the cream rises to the top, and what we find is that the companies that are getting the job done, the market share increases, and that's exactly what's happening in our marketplace. Our agents are achieving results, the properties are selling, they're positioning the properties correctly within the marketplace, we're marketing effectively, and subsequently our market share has gone up over that 40% figure. Our next closest competitor had 40 listings sold, about half of what we did. That's RE/MAX. They control a 22% market share. Century 21 unfortunately closed their doors within the last month. They had 17 listings sell with a 9% market share. Prudential, 12 listings sold with a 7% market share. Mountain Country Realty, 5 with a 3% market share. Lynn Wilson, 4 with a 2% market share. And Windermere, 4 listings sold since the beginning of the year with a 2% market share. Now keep in mind, the numbers that I'm using for this are single family homes. I haven't counted in condos and and vacant lots and all the other properties. What we're talking about specifically is single-family residential homes in these figures. What does all this mean? Bottom line is that I said before, 1 in 4 properties that are currently listed for sale are selling. I think what you need to consider, sellers need to consider these 5 points. And I'm going to provide 5 points for you to consider in getting your property positioned correctly within the marketplace. First of all, you've got to call Coldwell Banker Skyridge Realty. As I said, nearly half the properties that have sold year to date and historically are listed by Coldwell Banker Skyridge Realty agents. My agents are positioning the properties effectively, they're marketing the property, and they're putting deals together. They're not just listing properties, they're selling properties. If you want the best opportunity for you to get your property sold, you need to be working with a Coldwell Banker Skyridge Realty agent. Number 2, you need to ask your agent, what can you do to position your property effectively within the marketplace? Price-wise, is there anything you can do specifically to make the property more appealing? Are there things that you can do to clean the property up? Are there incentives that you can offer other agents to show the property? What needs to happen in order for you to position your property correctly? My agents are trained to make sure that they have that information available to you, and they'll make those recommendations so that you have a better opportunity to get the property sold. Number 3, you need to listen to the information. You need to listen to what they're saying and take what they're saying and utilize as best you can those recommendations. It's important for you to make sure in this marketplace, as I said, you want to be the 1 out of the 4 that's going to sell. You need to position your property correctly within the marketplace to make that happen, and your agent can provide you with that information. The other thing you need to do is you need to consistently monitor the marketplace. You need to understand what's going on with the marketplace so that you can make those decisions that you need to make, either with price or other factors, to make sure that you are effectively positioned within the marketplace. You can do that a couple different ways. First of all, ask your agent. Your agent is a valuable tool or a valuable wealth of information for you to be able to provide information on what's going on in the marketplace. Additionally, I maintain a company blog site, www.mountainupdate.com. And on that blog site, I provide information on what's selling, what's not selling, what areas are moving, market areas that are moving, market areas that aren't moving. I talk about what other companies are doing. It basically is an ongoing dialogue about what's going on in the marketplace. And that's a valuable place for you to be able to go and seek information and obtain information on what's going on in the Lake Arrowhead marketplace. I'm always available. If you'd like to send me an email, you can shoot me an email and I can talk about specific topics directly with you, or I can post a blog post. A lot of the information, a lot of the emails I get, I turn those into blog posts because I figure if one person is asking the question, there's probably 4 or 5 other people out there that have the same exact question. The last point, number 5, you've got to be realistic. In this marketplace, if 1 out of 4 properties is selling, it's not about what you need to get out of it. I hear sellers frequently say, "Well, I have to get X in order to move on to where I need to go." The fact of the matter is, buyers are not considering what you need. What they're considering is the competition. They're considering what else they can get out there. The properties that are selling are the properties that are good values or have the specific amenities that a buyer is looking for. It's important for you when an agent tells you, a qualified agent, a professional tells you, "Hey, this is what you can expect." A lot of times I hear sellers, "Well, that isn't good enough. I want this." Well, the agents don't control the price, and unfortunately the sellers at this point don't control the price because there is too much inventory out there and available. There's too much competition. What dictates the price is the buyers. And at this very moment, what's most important is making sure that you're very realistic about where you fit into the marketplace. It's not about what you need, it's about what you're going to get. And that may be harsh, but the reality is that's what we're dealing with in this current market. I hope you found this information helpful. If so, please drop me an email. My email address is steve, S-T-E-V-E, @cbskyridge.com. I always welcome questions, comments, anything that you'd like to provide me. Also, if you need additional backup information, I told you mountainupdate.com is a blog website that I maintain on a regular basis. I can also be reached at my office, 909-336-2131. If you'd like me to recommend one of my top agents to assist you in getting your property sold, or if you have other real estate related needs, I'm happy to talk with you and make a recommendation on one of my top agents who will do a great job for you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me this morning and watch this video. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to be of service to you, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.